Hey guys, how is everybody doing? The month that was February is officially behind us. Already, we are in March. Oh dear Christ, it is March of 2025. Yes, the time needs to slow down. I don't like this. So, with the month of February now officially behind us, it is time that I do what I usually do at the end of every month. I take all the movies that I watched during the month and rank them all from worst to best. Now, yes, I only did watch 3 movies this month, which is the same number as January. I was a little bit more busy this month. I had other things come up with family and stuff like that to where I didn't get a lot of time to watch certain movies, and there's just some movies that I wasn't frankly interested in, and I didn't really want to devote my time and money to watch it. So I watched 3. I feel that's good enough, and the 3 that I have, y- to say the least, this was kind of a little mediocre month. Now, none of these movies were bad. Some of them were just okay to fine, mostly. All these movies, none of them are bad. All of them are just okay. I don't think one of them is great. I don't think any of them are amazing by any means. But however, these are a lot. These movies are just they're okay from all 3 of them before I begin. So, with that all out of the way, let's talk about all 3 February 2025 movies that I watched. Now, when it comes to number 3, I honestly could pick and choose, and you can ask me some other time. But right now, for my number 3, I'm going to go with Heart Eyes. Now, Heart Eyes was a movie that I was really looking forward to. This was a movie where I was like, yes, finally, Valentine's Day. It's getting a slasher movie. We haven't gotten one of those since freaking early 2000s with Valentine. Like, this was a movie I had a lot of hopes for because I have been really hoping that we get a Valentine's Day themed slasher or a Valentine's themed horror movie because we don't really get a lot of them. Sure, there's a lot of horror movies about love that you can watch on Valentine's Day, but none of them are centered on the actual holiday. For instance, this isn't a movie that is centered on Valentine's Day, but I like to watch it every Valentine's Day, and that is Bride of Chucky. That movie's about love, obviously, so I watch it every Valentine's Day. But you got movies like My Bloody Valentine, you got movies like Valentine that I just talked about, but we haven't gotten one in a long time, and it was like kind of like Eli Roth's Thanksgiving when that movie came out. I was freaking excited for that because we had never seen a slasher Thanksgiving movie, and that's what I was kind of hoping Hard Eyes would be. And however, I don't think the movie was bad. I just thought it was okay. This movie does have a lot of flaws in my mind, and it for just in the end, this movie was just a fun slasher movie that I could see myself rewatching around Valentine's Day. Because like this is just a movie to have fun with. This is definitely just a movie that was made just to put out on Valentine's Day for people to go out and have fun watching it. That is pretty much what this film pretty much is, and I had fun with it. Mason Gooding, he is amazing in this movie. I think this certifies him as one of the best horror actors now because with Scream and now this, I really enjoy the guy whenever he shows up and everything. And his chemistry with the actress in this movie was very, very good. Now, I didn't think the whole relationship thing was very interesting for me, but their whole chemistry was really good, and I really bought into the relationship. And I won't spoil anything, but when it comes to slashers, there's always that big reveal. It's like, oh, it was me who was the killer, that big scream reveal at the end. This movie had a very bland scream like killer reveal because it was literally pretty predictable in my mind. Because when one character showed up at certain scene, I'm like, that's the killer because they're gonna try and fool the audience and think it's like, oh, it's too obvious that it's him. And we're gonna think it's not him, but it truly is him. And I'm like, what was the point of that? But however, the movie is fun. It is a fun movie to watch during Valentine's Day, and if you have a partner that you want to watch it with, it's fun. And if you're just a horror fan like me, looking for a slash movie to watch it during the Valentine's Day weekend, this movie might be for you. Was it disappointing? No, it's just it could have been better in my mind, and unfortunately, they wasted Devon Sawa. I was a little upset about that. Made me cry. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Oz Perkins' new directorial effort with The Monkey. Now, Oz Perkins has never been a person that I've really cared for. He's not a director that every time his name's on a poster, I instantly want to go out and rush to the theaters. Like his movie last year with Longlegs, which was probably the most hyped up horror movie that was last year, was probably the most praised out of every horror movie, which I do enjoy, but excuse me, I do enjoy, but I do not love it by any means. Like I like it, but I don't love it. And, this is just a guy that I never really cared for too much. I tried to watch his first film with Blackcoat's Daughter. I could not finish it. I turned it off. It just was not for me whatsoever. But this movie I felt could have been interesting because I did not watch a trailer for this movie. I went into this movie completely blind because I didn't really know what it was. All I knew is that Oz Perkins directed it. James Wan was producer. It was based off some sort of Stephen King short story, which I didn't even know he wrote about a killer monkey. And pretty much what this movie is that you get this doll monkey thing, and if you twist the key on the back, it'll play these drums, and it's like a Final Destination, but it's like Final Destination, but with uh a trumpet monkey, kind of like a little monkey that plays the drum, and when it's done playing the drum, something around you will pretty much kill you in a Final Destination like death. That's a very interesting concept, and I did not know that until I walked into the theater. All I was told it was about a killer monkey, and I was just like, oh, okay, that sounds like fun. It's a Stephen King story, so it might be fun and interesting. And I will admit, this movie ended up kind of disappointing me during the end of the movie, because that first half was really good, and I felt the comedy, the actual kills, the characters, the whole story they were going for, I thought was great, and I thought that was instantly going to be my favorite horror movie of the year. That so far, this was going to be my favorite movie of the month. It was going to be my favorite movie of the year so far. Like, that first half, it was great type of Stephen King story that it made you feel those old vibes again and kind of gave you that nostalgia of like Stand By Me and the It miniseries in a way. Like, first half comedy and everything was amazing. But then when it jumps 25 years later when the kids are adults, it starts to decline for me, unfortunately, because you had me up here with my excitement and my enjoyment, and then towards the end and trying to execute it, you kind of failed in my mind, and you kind of lost my interest, because the comedy slowly started to burn out a little bit. It got a little repetitive and just wasn't as funny, but it was still good. This movie's still funny by means. Like, it doesn't take itself seriously, which, why would you take a killer monkey seriously? But like that first half was just really good, and then the second half becomes like this weird different movie to where like the twin brothers are apart from each other. The one twin, Bill, calls the main one and tells him to go look for the monkey. That creates a whole concept, excuse me. And then there's this whole dynamic and this whole plot line with him and his son, where he didn't feel like he was the right father for his son. He only gets to see him once a year by his choice, by the way. And that creates a whole dynamic that's just not interesting to me whatsoever. I thought it was boring and could have been cut out, which you can tell it's a Stephen King movie when it has father conflicts, when he was an alcoholic, when he was an alcoholic and he had a kid at the point. Like, this movie does have a lot of those Stephen King type of feelings, with this movie being set in Maine and everything. This movie is really enjoyable in that first half, but unfortunately, just that the second half of this movie just went off the rails for me. I did enjoy it. I do definitely see myself rewatching it, and I do feel that maybe a second viewing could change my mind on it. But however, just this movie just ended up disappointing me a small bit. I did not have high expectations, but when the movie first began and what it was doing and what the comedy was for me, I just thought it would be better, but unfortunately, that second half, it really lost me in the end. But coming in at my number one, my favorite movie of February 2025, which isn't really a big competition, I guess, and that is Captain America Brave New World. Now, I see myself more defending this movie at this point, because after 3 weeks after it's come out, I still see myself defending this movie and still thinking about it and still kind of liking it more. Now, by all means, it is not the Winter Soldier, and it is not Civil War. Those two movies are very hard to merit and to try and do better as for a Captain America movie, because those are the two perfect Captain America movies and two of the most perfect comic book movies of all time. Now, when you have a Captain America movie come out with now Anthony Mackie as Captain America, things are going to change, and I know that, and it's going to be hard to live up to Steve Rogers and that trilogy, which was fucking amazing. But in the end, I really enjoy Captain America Brave New World. I think the action is good. It's not great by any means. It's not mind blowing shit that you're witnessing, but it's fun. Anthony Mackie, he does great as in his first role as Captain America in his first feature film. I think he did great in this. I'm hoping that he gets his own trilogy, or at least I'm hoping that he'll get his own movie again, because I do feel he deserves it. And Red Hulk, that is what Hulk needs to be in the MCU. That is how I think Hulk should be. I think that's how they should be utilizing him, but unfortunately they have not, and they kind of fumbled him the last few weeks. The last few years, unfortunately, after Endgame is when Hulk kind of declined for me. And now, if you're doing this good with Red Hulk, do it with the actual Hulk. That is what audiences want to see. However, I really enjoyed Captain America Brave New World. It is hard to live up to Steve Rogers' trilogy. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was good. I'm hoping that it'll break even because I do want to see Anthony Mackie get his own another Captain America movie, or at least hopefully get a trilogy, because this movie is not as bad. And if you have not seen this movie yet, and if it is playing in your theater still, I do encourage you to try and go check it out. It is not perfect by any means. However, it might not be the perfect movie to spend your money on. So maybe wait till Disney Plus, but I would encourage you to go at least see it once in the theaters. Thank you all so much for watching my ranking of all 3 February movies that I watched during the month of February, obviously. Let me know what movies you watched during the month of February and rank them down in the comments below if you so wish. And if you like this video, like it. If you love to subscribe with the bell notification so you will get notified for all my latest videos. And look out for my Daredevil episodes 1 and 2 review tomorrow when that premieres. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you all next time.